Hi, my name's Steve Bowden. I am a startup advisor at Newcastle University. I'm part of the startup team. We're the team who are there to help any student or recent graduate who wants to work for themselves. So, whether you would like to have a career as a freelancer, working for yourself as a self employed person, whether you'd like a portfolio career where you work for an employer and work for yourself, or whether you want to start a business in addition to that and develop an innovative new product or service, then we are the team who are here to help you. Today, I'd like to talk to you about one aspect of working for yourself, and that's what we call freelancing or being an independent professional, and some of the pros and cons of choosing that career choice. Increasingly, people here in the UK and indeed across the world are embarking on a career of selling their knowledge and services and working for themselves as a freelancer. So they're leaving behind some of the more traditional thoughts around having a career, i.e., working for a single employer or working for several employers over the space of a career, and choosing to work for themselves. There's a lot of reasons why people choose freelancing as a career option. The flexibility to choose when you work, where you work, and how you work, and that perception, at least, of a better work life balance. But before we have a look at some of the pros and cons of working as a freelancer, let's take a moment to understand what it is we mean by the term freelancer. You'll likely hear the words freelancer, subcontractor, sole trader, independent professional, self employed, all used interchangeably depending on what sector or industry you're working in. They're all ways of describing essentially the same thing. Here in the UK, if you start working for yourself, you are classed as a sole trader. Being a sole trader means that you are responsible for the running of the business, means you're responsible for its success or potentially for its failure. But fundamentally, it means that you have several different contractors or employers at the same time. You're not working for one single employer, which would make you an employee. This means you decide when you work, where you work, and how you work. You've agreed a fixed price or an hourly rate, or essentially you have taken the decision as what rate you are charging for the work or the services that you're providing. You are not employed by a single entity, you are an independent professional employed by several people at the same time. At the moment, there are nearly 5 million people who are self employed in the UK. That's 15% of the UK's workforce, and it's a 35% rise over the last 10 years. So you can see there's a definite trend or shift towards people choosing self employment as a career option. And most people who do choose it for very positive reasons. They're pulled towards it rather than being pushed towards it as a consequence of something negative like unemployment. But it's not without its challenges and its ups and downs. So let's have a little look at some of the pros and cons of freelancing. As a freelancer, you're probably going to be working with small to medium clients, but that means that you might get a nice balance between some kind of cool small gigs, passion projects, and hopefully some bigger corporate clients. But more clients means more admin, so expect to spend about 25% of your time chasing payments, invoicing, and doing business administration. Freelancers' biggest worries are the irregularity of payments and late payments from clients. So you'll need to keep on top of your invoicing and your admin if you're going to be a successful freelancer. Freedom and getting out of the rat race. 4 out of 5 freelancers say that the freedom to choose when and where they work was the key factors in why they chose self employment. Having that freedom to work when you want and where you work can be fantastic. Controlling your own schedule, being the master of your own destiny is great. But you'll have to balance that with when clients want you to deliver work and working to their deadlines and hitting those deadlines. So with that freedom there are some limitations. You need to get good at managing your own time, managing your own schedule, because when there's no reliance on going to an office from 9 to 5, you need that self-motivation and that way of controlling your day in order to be able to deliver that work so that you get paid. But you can maximize your time. So while others are sat in congested traffic on the way to a 9 to 5 job, you can be working more effectively and more efficiently, but also leaving much more time in your day to do those other things that are important to you. An overwhelming majority of freelancers chose self-employment for a better work-life balance. But less structure means more self-discipline. So if you haven't got an employer who's expecting you to be there at work and clock in and be visible and be seen to be doing your job, then you're going to have much more self-discipline and also self-motivation to get a job done. Money. Being a freelancer means that you take 100% of the profit. So the more work you do, the more money you can make. But it also means that you're going to have to pay attention to your finances and business development. So whereas being a freelancer can potentially recession-proof you as you spread your risk across several employers or clients or customers, it also means that you, in addition to having to deliver the work, also have to work on getting your next client or customer. You're also going to have to think about what happens if you get sick, or if there's an emergency, or even if you just want to take a holiday. Being a freelancer means that you're responsible for aspects of your life that you might have previously thought were the responsibility of an employer, like paying your taxes, for instance. As a freelancer, you are responsible for delivering a tax return every year. There's lots of information on HMRC's website to help you do this. And we live in a digital age and things are much more straightforward in terms of self-assessing and delivering a tax return than they were, say, 25 years ago. So these things are not difficult or complicated, but you have to pay attention to them and you have to be aware that they're your responsibility as a freelancer and as a sole trader in the eyes of HMRC. But you can get lots of advice from HMRC's own website, and indeed you can come to us in the startup team and we'd be happy to advise you about all aspects of freelancing and self-employment. Working alone without distraction can be incredibly productive and rewarding. But a third of freelancers in the UK say that they suffer with feelings of isolation. So make sure that you take time out. Meet with your peers, expand your network. It's a great way of making contacts, and often you'll need contacts and collaborators to deliver work. So make sure you take that time out to look after your physical and your mental well-being. Working for yourself can be great. The evidence supports that for most, it's an overwhelmingly positive career choice and experience. But just like any profession or any decision that you make, it's best to go into this with as much information as possible and tool yourself up with that knowledge so that you can make an informed decision about your career. This video has just touched on some of the pros and cons of being a freelancer. You might have many more questions which are particular to your situation. If you do have questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. The startup team is here to support you, and we've supported many thousands of students and recent graduates just like you. So if you've got any question about any aspect of working for yourself, including freelancing, whether it be registration or taxes or marketing or branding, then don't hesitate to get in touch. We look forward to supporting you and helping you get started.